People who have survived school shootings, what was it like? Serious? I was around for Elliot Rodgers' shooting at UCSB. There are a few things that I remember being surprising. The sense of humor. This was not everyone, but I remember a couple people making finger gun gestures at each other. I think this is because the event lasted a while and spread over the Isle of Istu area, so there was a general discomfort wherever you were. I think people were coping with the stress however you could. Gallows humor. Basically, the awkwardness of trying to console someone who just saw their friends shot or were shot at themselves. If you have ever been in a social situation where you didn't know what to say, add in the fact that whatever you say might permanently affect the life of the person you are talking to. Your school is now famous for this. Although this was during a time that school shootings weren't super common, so that might be changing. I was in the room when one student shot another at our high school then ran out of the building. This was the 80s, so there was no lockdown procedure. We all just left the building in various states of shock. I never felt threatened, so it really didn't affect me too badly. The victim lived and the shooter spent several years in the Indiana Youth Center with Mike Tyson and one of my best friends from high school. That's a bizarre sentence for you. I was in the STEM shooting. We heard 5 shots and sat in a corner for a little while, then some yelling. I heard some guy moaning, in pain, outside, then a bullet came through the wall and scratched my friend. We left to another corner, then there were 2 more shots. I was texting friends and family and my friend texted me, wanna play 8-ball pool. The cops removed us, there was blood in the halls, we stood around in the cold for a couple hours. A friend of mine got shot in the leg 3 times, though she's okay now, both of them are. After I was kinda messed up a few days after, which is kinda weird because of how close I was, but I don't wanna sound bad, but I'm fine now, just like completely desensitized. This wasn't a Columbine-style shooting, just 2 morons arguing over a chain. My high school had the football field right next to the student parking lot. The other 3 sides of the field were a very steep hill. On one side, at the top of the hill, a mall. At the time, here's how it went down. During football practice we heard gunshots and then everybody started running up the hill. I followed. At the top of the hill into the mall parking lot, some guy was bleeding but he had been stabbed, not shot. He wandered off. After about 10 minutes, coach told us to get back on the field. Whoever made it up the hill first was starting the next game. Turns out, these 2 wannabe gangbanger dickheads were arguing over a chain, and their idiotic cronies decided this is a good reason for a brawl. Somebody brought out a shotgun, because they're all fucking morons. Luckily didn't shoot anyone, but it dispersed the situation nicely. This doesn't count as a school shooting, but there was a point in my middle school in 8th grade, where someone brought containers of ethanol. There were rumors that he had guns in his locker, and he also had locks and chains, and he was planning on locking the school in and setting it on fire. My friend found out and told on him. He was arrested and we were evacuated. All the police released were the containers of ethanol were found, but they were keeping the chains and locks secret. This summer, the incident was last year, the person who was gonna burn the school down, harassed and threatened my friend so much, that he shot himself. I will never forget my friend's name, or the student's name. My friend was a good person, and didn't tell anyone what was happening until his last few days. We had a memorial for him at the school, but it still isn't the same without him. My freshman year of high school 2013, on our first Thursday back after winter break, a student showed up to school late with a shotgun. He walked into his first period class and targeted students who had bullied him. The entire campus was on lockdown for what felt like hours. One thing that has stuck with me was my first period English teacher grabbing a pair of scissors and telling us that he was prepared to do what he had to do to keep us safe. This man was married with kids but was letting us know in what was probably the scariest experience of his life that he would make the ultimate sacrifice if it meant keeping us safe. Thankfully it never came to that, but it's still hard to imagine what it must have felt like to decide then and there that his students were worth dying for. It kinda fucked me up a little. For years I thought I was fine, but stepping over a classmate's body while you're running out of a building does seem to have long-term effects. Thankfully nothing happened, just to preface. But I went to a pretty small school in the northern US, and my class had about 70 kids in it. In middle school, there were only about 130 kids in our building. One of the girls, I'll call Gabby, was definitely a bit of an outcast, but I don't think she was bullied or anything. I don't know the specifics of why, but Gabby had planned to kill everyone in our middle school. She wanted to plant a bomb during lunch hour A, and then go around the school with a gun to get everyone that wasn't in lunch and in period 4A. There were only 2 people not on her list, her one guy friend and her best friend, Leah. Leah was fucking scared shitless after Gabby told her what her plan was and ended up reporting Gabby. I haven't seen her in a while, she ended up in a mental hospital after that, but I think she's since got out. I still don't understand why she wanted to do it. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more.